Hi, Zizaran here with another build guide for 3.22. Although this isn't really a build guide, this is more of a build idea because this is for the new Corrupting Cry support, and that's also why we don't really have any footage of this build in action. This is more of like, this is what we would do. And Xai, the guy who helps me create builds, is actually going to be league starting this himself. So if this is actually pretty good, what he's going to do is a day or two, maybe 3 into the league, we'll create a more advanced build guide and we'll post that on my YouTube. If you're not a veteran player, stay away from this thing because this is something that's going to require that you already have Path of Exile knowledge enough to fix anything that comes up and won't be like a step-by-step thing. It's just simply not a thorough build guide. So I do want to make sure they get that as a warning. That being said, in PoB with some okay gear, it looks pretty solid with like 4.2 million damage and it looks like a really good starter. But numbers can be really deceiving, so I don't recommend this to players that aren't veterans, and there's nothing worse than fucking up your league start and ending up like feeling behind and like you have to start over. So keep that in mind while watching this. But if you do want to try it, this is what we would do. Different than normal, we don't have a step-by-step leveling, but we would suggest leveling with Spectral Throw, and we'll throw a skill set in for that as well. You could level with physical dots like Corrupting Fever and stuff like that. And then there's an endgame if you're using 1 Warcry or 2 Warcries. So we'll see how that ends up. Obviously, the Corrupting, what was it called again? It's called Corrupting Cry. It is not in Path of Building yet. So we have Corrupting Fever as a placeholder. Now, Corrupting Cry is a support gem. It is not an active gem. So that means that getting things like +1 physical gems will not buff Corrupting Cry. You will need, for example, plus socketed gems. And that will help it. Or +2 socketed support gems in your weapon. Things like that will buff it. Other than that, we can like look quickly through. We're most likely going to use Pride, Determination, Malevolence. It'll depend a little bit whether you use Grace or Malevolence. Depends if you feel tanky enough or if you want more damage. War Banner and a normal like movement speed setup. And then this is a champion, so you can do like Adrenaline proccing on weapon swap. And that'll be obviously, again, bit of a more thing for advanced players. But we can see our ascendancy here. We were getting Fortify, so we're very tanky. Inspirational for free banner and increased aura effect. And first to strike, last to fall. And yeah, with first to strike, last to fall, you can like weapon swap, do your adrenaline proc, because you do like keep it that 100% increase damage for 20 seconds. So very, very nice. One example of how you can weapon swap proc is to have 2 midnight bargains in your alpha, and then you just swap back, and it instantly like procs it for you. And the way this will look when you're playing it, you're basically shouting your enemies to death and then using Reap for extra damage. And we can look through what we've set here in the gear set as an example, and you can see that it's not like anything crazy. So here you can use Fair Essence on a wand, and then you have a physical damage over time multiplier. You get the shield, you'd most likely spam Greed Essences. Obviously, we don't have a great way to force minion damage. And then everything else is fairly straightforward. It's mostly life resist stuff. We have Delirium Gloves. These are a little bit tricky. We do have some in the notes on how to craft them as well. Here, but it's basically a delirium essence, and then you do suffixes cannot be changed, and then a veiled chaos orb, and you hope the AoE gems hit. This will give you quite a lot of damage, so it is fairly expensive if you're Arsenal Safa. Trade League, there are quite a lot of people craft those, but generally, as you see, there's nothing super insane here. The only hard thing being the gloves, and with this already hitting 4 million damage, it's honestly like looking like a pretty solid starter if the numbers match up. We have put some stuff in the notes here as well, and there are things you can pivot to. Like you can go EA champion if the build sucks. We do have a video for this. Corrupting Fever, Route 2 has a guide for this, and then some people like dominating below. There's an example of that here too. So let me explain the idea behind the single or double Warcry. The difference is with a single Warcry, you can use Call to Arms, and that feels really, really good. You could have it on mouse button 1 and have it auto-cast. That might be a little bit weird and might cost at inopportune times. But if you are feeling like the cooldown's a little bit annoying and you can't cast enough, you can do double Warcry and drop the Call to Arms, but that will you will be standing still. You do have a lot of Warcry speed, but you will be standing still when you're casting that Warcry. So you do have options there. It's just going to depend what actually ends up feeling good. Maybe try both. It's obviously not a big respec, but try both and see what you like. The Anoint is Veteran Soldier, and Solar Brine King, Solar Ralakesh as the Major and Minor, and then Bandits is Kill Everything. And yeah, honestly, as far as like starters that we don't know if gonna be good, it does look pretty decent. That being said, very, very scary to try something new as your starter because fucking up your league start might not be what you want. That being said, we wanted to put this guide out there because we've had so many people that really want to try out the new support gems, and we wanted to do some theory crafting with you, see if that helps. Let me know if you have any improvements, if you've already thought of something like this yourself, or if this just looks spicy and something you want to try. And let us know if you want us to continue doing things like this that aren't surefire builds and are just more like build ideas to inspire you to do better. If this build helps you have a great league start, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. We do also have the membership feature for those that really want to go the extra mile. Anyway, there you have it. Be careful with this build. Make sure you are a bit knowledgeable so you can fix anything, any problem that might occur. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave me some feedback. And more importantly, sorry if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do. Have a great league start.